And Nashia, thank you guys so much for joining us. Would you be willing just to take a few moments to go ahead and introduce yourself and No Label Juice?
Okay. I'm Nashia, the owner or one of the owners for No Label Juice. Um,
Yeah, I'm Brandon, other owner for No Label Juice, and yeah, we've been at this since 2020. We started. Well, actually, she started um, selling juices at um, basketball game concessions, and I tried some of the juice, and I told her this is too good to just be given away and
Yeah.
not marketing. So put our heads together and we came up with this logo and just kind of took off. She kind of had a direction for where she wanted to go, and she led, I followed, and we just got it going.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you both so much for being willing to join us through this Black History Month series. And we're really looking forward to getting to hear about the starting and how things have been going with No Label Juice. I'll go ahead and start with the first question. So your story starts with your grandparents juicing in the early mornings. Can you paint a picture of what that was like for you as a kid? Did you enjoy it back then, or was it something you could appreciate later?
I did enjoy it back then. So, um, this was before there was like school of choice, and my grandparents actually lived in Lincoln District, so I would go to school from their house in the morning. Anyway, I would just wake up in the morning and I would smell the fresh like kale and whatever they were mixing up, watermelon and whatever they were juicing and making smoothies. And that's what I would wake up to every morning. And they would send me like with a little mason jar and I would go to school with it. So I would be the one at lunch with like mason jars of green juice and smoothies. And it just stayed with me throughout life.
That's awesome. I love hearing those connections and going along right with that, having being the kid bringing green juice to lunch. Interested to hear, I don't think that's a typical thing that kids were bringing to school, but interested, like, how did your friends react? Um, how did that feel to you?
They were like, ew, what is that? Then I would like, share. Some people would like it. Some people was like, wait, that's actually pretty good. I can't even taste the kale in it. And yeah, so I didn't feel bad about it. I was never embarrassed about it. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, I was proud of them and proud of myself.
As you were sharing that with friends, did you have any that really started to like it or try to request for you to bring some to them?
No, not at that age. No, not then, but as I got older and I started juicing, I do have friends that requested, like even today, like friends would hit me up, like, I want to do a detox. Can you whip me up something? So
Okay. And then, so you started in 2020, um, really changing this idea or passion into a business. Um, it's just, what was that moment like? Like, when did you just say more about like when you knew that you were onto something?
um I guess I didn't know until Brandon so I was doing this thing called like sample Sundays, and I would like drive around Ipsy and give juice away to people who requested it. Um, and then it just became like so many people were requesting juices, and Brandon was like, "You can't just keep giving that away for free. Like, let's sell it. Let's get a label. Let's do the whole thing." And then that's when he created the logo and you came up with the name, right? Or was it kind of like a joint?
I came.
Yeah, he came up with the name, and then I was like, okay, so let me create a plan around this. And that's when I was like, I really want to be in the Ypsilanti Farmers Market. Like that's where we can sell it. That's where I know that's where my people are. Let's try. Let's figure this out. So
So along the lines with the name, I guess it's a double question. First, Brandon, where did the name come from? And then what does it mean to you guys, No Label Juice?
Well, the name came from not having a label. Literally not having a label. So when we first did it, when she was in the concession stand, I think we were calling ourselves Just Fresh Juice, right?
Yeah, it
Something
was
like that.
Just Fresh
I came up with a
Juice.
whole little menu and everything, kind of branded it. And then from there, we kind of just evolved because we didn't necessarily want, for one, we didn't have a label, but then we didn't want to kind of put ourselves in a box, and um we didn't want to necessarily stick with the stigma of juices aren't necessarily for everybody. So the name kind of PR'd itself
Mm.
from no label. So it was just our juices. We thought about what our juices contain, which were real natural raw ingredients, and how we didn't have anything extra under the label. So no label came about, and it just kind of stuck, and then it kind of became a lifestyle type of deal.
Yeah. To piggyback off of what Brandon said, we started off, we didn't have labels on these bottles. And then eventually it grew to us being like, okay, there's no labels on our bottles. And there's like not any artificial flavors, there isn't any chemicals or anything in our juices. So that's a part of like the no label as well. And then there's no label on the person who can drink our juices, like it's for everybody.
That's awesome. Very deep. You talked about, wanting to get into, and obviously you were a part of the Ypsilanti Farmers Market early on in your journey. I'd love to just hear about like, what was that experience like for you? But like even more so, if you can think back, what did you feel like your first day at market?
I'm sorry. Can you say the question again?
Yeah, no, you're fine. Um, Essentially just how did you feel your first day at the farmers market? What did it feel like? Like, now you've really turned this into something new.
It felt it was exciting. But I also felt like at home because I grew up in Ypsilanti. So it was like a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces, and I just it felt right. I felt like, everything was just aligning for us to be in the market, and it was amazing. Like, yeah.
And if I could just add off of that, it kind of gave us a sense of community.
Yeah.
We met a lot of great people, a lot of other great vendors. We met the kind of the administrators of the actual market, and just being able to tap in with other entrepreneurs and community members, it kind of helped us shift our dynamic to be community focused as well. I mean, we were already trying to get back to community, but once we started touching people and talking to people, it just felt like a sense of family.
Yeah. Did you start at the market in 2020 or the following year?
We started in the market in 2024.
Yeah, 2021.
Because when we first started, along with the Sample Sundays, we started getting out of there. We did a series of pop-up shops.
Okay.
Small pop-up shops throughout the community, and some in Detroit. And that's what kind of shift. Well, we already wanted to be in the farmers market, but seeing how that went, it kind of pushed us a little extra harder to file those applications and actually take initiative to get into the market.
Yeah, basically doing the paperwork.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was intimidating because this was something that I've never done before. I'm like, how do I get in the farmers market? And I'm looking at the application. I'm like, okay, I need all these licenses. I didn't know how to obtain those things. But once I kind of got over being scared and I actually just did the work and sat down and did the paperwork, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. I could have done this way earlier.
Yeah, you guys mentioned as you were talking about the farmers market, getting to tap into a network of vendors. I really just wanted to know, are there any lessons that you learned from that time that still stuck with you as you were shaping No Label Juice?
Yes. You got to have your paperwork in order. Like that's been the most consistent lesson, and that's something that I want to share with other like people who want to get into food business or just business period. Like it could be intimidating, all the licensing, all the qualifications that you need to have to be a licensed food business, but you just have to sit down and get it done. I want to say that's like the biggest lesson, and it's consistent at every stage in business. Is like, okay, you need to have this, and that before you could do the next thing. And yeah, that's
And I think we also learned a lot about professionalism, just showing up, being
Mhm.
willing, ready to just do your thing.
showing up.
One of the biggest things that we learned from another vendor wasn't necessarily how to talk to people, but more so in the sense of how to get in their same like realm of reality, like kind of just coming and being on like their same level and just communicating and finding similarities and letting those things draw us closer to our customers and even our employees. We learned a lot about grants and just what to look for when we try to hire people as well. So
Cool. I want to talk a little bit about the sort of mission behind the work that you all are doing that I've read about and heard about in different ways. But, you know, as you've already said, you've built your business around making fresh, natural juices available. Do you see this work as a bigger part of movement within food sovereignty or food justice? You know, really thinking about how we help people take control over what they're putting in their bodies.
Yeah, I do.
and then the first part of that though is access to
Access.
this healthy stuff that we're trying to do and putting it right in the heart of Ypsilanti was something that was really, really, really important in Nashia, making sure that we were in a spot where we can give back and we can educate.
Yeah.
And that's why I really want to stay in the farmers markets, because that's how we are accessible to majority of the people. Is like most people come to the farmers market to get their produce, to get their salsa or whatever. So it's like if we're right there, then people, oh, I have an option to get some fresh juice.
Being easily accessible,
being easily
going
accessible.
to the people,
Go, exactly.
showing our faces.
Cool, cool. And in many ways, juicing is about reclaiming health, right? Especially within the Black community where food-related illnesses are super prevalent. How do you see No Label playing a role in reshaping the conversation around nutrition?
Um, I'm glad you asked that question, because when we first started off with Sample Sundays, my target audience were older people. I don't know how to say that. Like that's not to say but yeah, like I was thinking of like my grandparents' friends, like, you know, older Black people usually have some type of situation with their health. And I'm like, I know this beet juice is good for lowering blood pressure or whatever. So I'm gonna try to get these juices out to my grandparents' friends. But I think it definitely um changes the conversation in ways of like you can, I don't want to say like you shouldn't take your medication, but let's change also the way that we eat and what we drink and what we're putting into our bodies, because I think that plays a part into a lot of health things.
You know, so easily, it's super easy for us to go to the liquor store, the gas station to get something to drink. And like I said, access, putting our product in front of the people, letting them try it. That's step one. Just letting them try it, getting familiar with it, and hopefully they come back. Hopefully they spread word. Word of mouth has been one of our biggest advertisements, and we just hope that what we can do one step at a time can change somebody's lives, change somebody's perspective on juicing. Because juicing gets a negative connotation all the time about it not tasting. We can slash that step one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Um, as you guys are talking about, like, when you first started really targeting that elderly population, have you guys found any ways to educate both that population and other populations about the health benefits of your juice?
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I didn't hear you. It like cut out. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah. I was just kind of bringing back. You mentioned that you really at the beginning were targeting the elderly population, and so I was asking if you guys have found ways with that population and others population to educate people on the health benefits of your juice.
Yeah, so we do that through our farmers markets. When people walk up to us, we always explain to them the benefits of each of our juices. And they always ask, honestly, like just like, okay, what does this juice do for me? Or like, oh, I'm having this, I'm feeling this type of way today. Like, do you have anything, a juice that could help me with that? So right now, our farmers market is how we get the word out about the benefits of juice.
Okay. So now, what you're sitting in, and later this week, you're going to be opening up a brick and mortar juice bar cafe space, which is a huge leap. Congratulations! I'm super excited for you all. But interested to hear, I think others would be interested to hear what sort of are some of the biggest joys and challenges you've uh, been facing, dealing with, hopefully leaning on each other through this process.
Um, My biggest challenge was probably this chalk wall behind us. I wanted to DIY it and do it myself. And it really didn't work out that way.
We did it ourselves.
We did it ourselves. I didn't do it myself. I wanted to
Ourselves.
do it by myself. That was my biggest challenge with opening up the store. We've been here for a year. We signed our lease in November of 2023. Yeah, and then I found out I was pregnant like the next month. And then I thought I could still open up. I was just like, yeah, I can do it. I can be pregnant and still open up this juice bar, but it didn't work out that way. So we've been kind of sitting here for a while, and the kitchen was like built out months after we signed the lease. So
Yeah, we had to do a bunch of different renovations, get a bunch of different permits. We just had to make sure everything was according to compliance ordinances and stuff like that. But I think my biggest joy is the fact that we're open and we started during the pandemic, and I feel like we were able to build something along with the community that is going to be here for a long time. Hope. And um, I'm just excited to be able to touch more people, talk to more people, show them that it's okay to get some juice and keep it pushing. It's fine. And we're here to do juice so you don't have to clean your juices yourself. So but I think one of the biggest challenges might have been the fact that time waits for no man. Time is of the essence. And this is something that we had to jump on, and everything around us kept moving. We just couldn't stop. So I think it shows a lot about our resiliency and our determination to push through challenges. And yeah, I think we got us being husband and wife, and being a new married couple, and going into business together is not always easy to do. But finding out how our communication styles and learning each other every day is something that's important to us, and just getting on each other's level and making sure each other is heard. We're still working on that, but yeah, I'd rather do this with nobody else in the world.
yeah.
That's cool. Says kind of on the same tip as we're talking about challenges. Prior to the call, you guys had mentioned that you work with Shed 5 in Detroit. You guys have worked with Growing Hope. Are there any things that you learned from working with any of those organizations that helped you guys navigate those challenges and be prepared to deal with different challenges that would come?
Yeah, growing hope pretty much
Put us in the game,
put
folks.
us in the game. I learned about growing hope. So I went through the Detroit Kitchen Connection. I went to a webinar to learn how to get into an incubator kitchen. Um, and by the way, in that webinar, there was a lady there. I don't remember her name, but she was just like, "You're doing juice. That is going to be really hard." And I was so discouraged after she said, but she said, she's like, "I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just letting you know, like, it's so hard to get into the juice business and yada yada." But I was just like, okay, whatever. And then I was trying to get into St. Mary's or Mary's Kitchen at Willow Run. For some reason, that didn't work out. But they told me like, "Oh, Growing Hope is like right there in Ipsy. You should inquire about getting into their kitchen." So I did that, and B was the manager, the kitchen manager at that time, and yeah,
Shout out to B.
yeah,
Shout out to
she
you.
let us in, and
Go, really MVP.
then
appreciate
just Growing Hope just kind of wrapped their arms around us, and we learned everything from there.
We're always happy to have you. It was sad that you were leaving, but you know, only because I wanted the quick access.
The quick access.
Still go down Wash now.
Hey, we're right down the street.
Yeah, we're
we
not
still
far.
family. We're still family.
Do a reunion sometime.
Yeah.
So talking a little bit more about your juice for someone who's never had your juices before. So have
Yes,
you ever had?
I've not.
All right. So for Deontay, what's one flavor that they should start with? And yeah.
I would say if you've never had our juice before, I would do the AJ Sunshine. That's pineapples, apples, and oranges.
That sounds so good.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like, I would definitely start with the AJ Sunshine. And then if you are comfortable, if you get a little comfortable with that, go to the activated lemonade. It's black. So people are always attracted to it. They're like, "What is that? Why is it black?" It has activated charcoal in it, but it's the best lemonade, I believe. And I'm biased, but
And then if you're into juicing and you want to still get something that tastes, excuse me for lack of a better term, but good, all of our juices are good also. But the farmer's market, everybody at the farmer's market usually loves the screaming orange. Oranges, carrots, ginger does it for them because it has a little spiciness. Lemon and gala apple. So it still has a little bit of sweetness, but now you're starting to get into your vegetable juices. And that one's really, really good. Oh, our vitamin is really good too. Really easy to drink. It's watermelon and gala apples. It tastes like biting right into a watermelon. It's very, very
yeah.
So we've got some pretty easy to drink juices to get you warmed up and familiar with our brand and our flavor.
I believe as we were looking at your website, that you guys are going to be expanding your menu some. Can you guys tell us a little bit about some of the new products you're going to be adding to your menu with your grand opening?
Yeah, so we've added smoothies. We actually had a little menu tasting for that this past weekend. So we finally finalized the smoothie menu. We're gonna post it probably soon this week. But yeah, so we have like some smoothies with avocado, blueberry smoothies, some smoothies with espresso in it because we'll also be offering coffee and espresso. We actually are getting our coffee from a local roastery, Hyperion. They roast right here in Ypsilanti, keeping it local. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm very excited for that. I was telling, like, we were looking at your website or Instagram or something right before we got on, and I was like, oh, this is about to be my spot.
We got stuff.
Yeah.
We got more stuff to come too. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll continue to do some more of these tastings, come up with some crazy flavors, get everybody what they want.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just looking through our questions real quick. Are there other ways that people, if someone wants to follow what you all are doing, get connected with your work, aside from just like obviously visiting and getting some juice or a smoothie, How can people connect with you all?
Instagram, our Facebook. I think that's all we have.
Our website.
Our website.
No Label Juice.
Yeah,
on
everything is.
all social media platforms. We're on Google too, so if you just go on Google, type in No Label Juice, you'll be able to. I think it should be like the first thing on there.
Yeah, it's gonna pop right up. You just
Yep.
type in No Label Juice in Google, and it's gonna
Like,
tell
it's up
yeah,
above.
it's gonna tell you all about this.
Awesome.
Talking to the two of you, I've really heard a lot of determination, perseverance, a lot of belief in yourself, which makes me just think, when it comes to No Label Juice, what are the values that you're hoping not only instill in the company, but then to communicate to people as they interact with you?
Authenticity. Raw, real authenticity. That's what our juice is. We don't add any artificial flavors, no preservatives. We want people to be themselves, and we want people to enjoy our juice.
Awesome. What type of experience do you hope people have when they walk into your doors?
I want them to feel cozy, I guess. Like, I want them to feel like they can come and sit at our bar, get some coffee or juice or smoothie, and just relax. Like, I want them to feel like this is their community spot to get something healthy and feel invited.
Okay. As we celebrate Black History Month, what does this moment for you as a Black business owner mean, and how do you see No Label Juice as a part of that legacy?
It really means a lot. Coming from a marginalized community, honestly. We still continue to go through a lot just to try to get on the same level as people to try to accomplish their dreams. So we have to jump through a lot of hoops. And I just want people to see where we started and let nothing deter them from accomplishing their goals. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna meet some people that might not share the same morals as you, and it might be frustrating. But at the end of the day, there's always a community in a sense. That's what we're trying to build in No Label Juice community of people who care about themselves, but then care about others. I mean, it costs $0 to be kind. When we're at the farmers market, that's the number one value that we can have. We want to create this, like I said, it's this community, it's this family, and just invite people, just be open and embrace all people for one. But yeah, as a community and as a people, we've come very far. And I just want to show younger people that all you need is faith and a mustard seed. Keep going. Get anything accomplished.
Well, that's it. That's a good word. All right, before we wrap up, would love to, we've mentioned that you're opening up this week, but just want to make sure folks know when and where to show up so they can get all their juice and smoothies and anything else you want to leave before we sign off.
So we're at 2878 Washtenaw Ave, Ypsilanti, Michigan, 48197. Our sign isn't up yet, but we'll have a banner to let you know where we are. And we're opening up on Friday on the 28th. But our grand opening celebration is on Saturday. But you feel free to stop in on Friday if you want.
We'll have tons of stuff to give away to people to try. Just trying to increase familiarity with the brand.
Awesome. What are the hours?
Monday through Friday is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then Saturdays is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Awesome.
And we're closed on Sundays.
I take at least one day off.
And then hopefully when the weather breaks, mid-March, we should be back in the Ann Arbor Farmers Market located in Carytown. Saturdays from now until probably December, we'll be at the Eastern Market in Shed 5. And then when summer rolls back around and the application opens back up, hopefully we'll be back in the Ypsi Farmers Market too.
All right, well, thank you all for your time. I hope everybody who's on and who watches this later comes and visits. If you can't make it this weekend, you got plenty of opportunities 6 days a week.
Yes, sir.
It
All
was
right.
an honor. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate y'all big time.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you and thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
So bye-bye.
We'll see ya.
Bye.